Good morning, everyone, and welcome to CIO Gurukul Roundtable Conversation being hosted by CIO&Leader in partnership with Aruba India. I'm Sachin Mashilkar, Executive Director of B2B Tech 9.9 Group, and a moderator for this session. As you know, today's topic conversation is going to be really exciting. It's exploring the future of work with Sixth Sense networks. And as you know that we are in the middle of shifting world structure. It's a virtual first, digital first world that we are moving into a rapidly and in a quite rapid space. The changing world has also meant that the world of work is changing, which is the hybrid work culture. Our workplaces have gone virtual, and we have a new phenomena, hybrid workplaces quickly becoming the mainstream. So new technologies like artificial intelligence, automation, and robotics are in the driving seat, shaping the future of work. The IT world is buzzing with talks of new world of edge computing, and why not? We are moving into an increasingly complex era that will be defined by data at the edge, intelligent networks, hybrid workplaces, and changing consumer and employee requirements as every business realizes the value of its data. The series of innovation in data management have meant that the businesses are now doing much more with their data than earlier. Now, businesses have begun opportunities for extracting value from data arising at the edge. However, even as we struggle to understand this new and a complex world at the edge and how it will affect enterprises' networks are becoming more complex and data heavy and time consuming and unimaginable. The scenario becomes even more complex and challenging when you look at these figures. An IDC report estimates that 55 billion devices will be connected within the next 2 years and will generate 79 gigabytes of data by 2025. If you account for that kind of a shift to hybrid workplaces and distributed workforces, it is apparent that we urgently need the right tools to keep the pace with this data deluge. This large amount of data at the edge has meant an ongoing struggle for networks and IT teams to manage the data overload. Enterprise IT teams are working with little or literally at times no visibility into their network, can barely pinpoint the location of data. As a result, are missing out on business opportunities. The struggle to keep the network up and running is taking a toll. And instead of driving innovation and a change, the time is getting spent in managing these complex issues. What is the situation then to this increasingly complex dimension of data at the edge? The short answer is that organizations need to ensure they have the right network foundation while being ready for the next big technology transition or event. But how? So, and that's what brings us to this panel conversation with our eminent panelists. And IT leaders like you will actually give that insight as how the data at the edge and how Sixth Sense networks offer a solution by functioning as the network engineers in the Sixth Sense era. So with that, let me invite our eminent panelist and give the quick introduction to all the panelists which are there in the room right now. So we have with us Mr. Arup Chaudhary, Chief Information Officer, Everready Industries India. Mr. Amit Nerurkar, Chief Information Officer, Shalby Hospitals. Mr. Amit Waghmare, Group Chief Information Officer of DB Corp. Mr. Puran Jaiswal, Group Chief Information Officer at Entero Healthcare. Mr. Ranganatha Iyer, Group Chief Information Officer and EVP at JBM Corp. Mr. Venugopalam Medichara, Group Vice President, Digital Technology, MSPL Limited. And Mr. Srinivasa Rao Mupaneni, Group Chief Information Officer at Telangana State Cooperative Apex Bank and Andhra Pradesh Cooperative Bank. And Mr. Saurabh Gupta, Vice President and Head Group IT at Anand Group India Limited. And from our partner side, we have Mr. Surya Narayana CS. He is a Country Category Manager, HP Aruba India. So with that, let me start a quick conversation. But prior to that, I want to just get a little more context setting by the concept itself. And therefore, I'm going to ask Surya. Surya, can you tell us the concept of the whole Sixth Sense network in brief?
Yeah, on a lighter note, first of all, let me start thanking CIO&Leaders and esteemed panelists for joining us. To start on a lighter note, people say that now today people don't have a sense itself. Where does the sixth sense come in? Okay, so but look at the way networks have been evolved, right? Networks were evolved. I always compare that with real-time scenarios. When Sachin had to travel to other place, I built a road. I was never bothered what time Sachin reaches, how he travels, speed. I was not bothered. And today, you use Google and other technology to check at what time I reach, and accurately how can I predict time? How do I get the experience? So the world is moving towards no more in networking terminology, we call it as quality of service. Okay, so it's no more quality of service, it's moved to quality of experience. Okay, so in the context of quality of experience, this is where how I can evolve the network layer, which is predominantly local area network, wireless area network, or a WAN, adapting to the new age technology to bring in not just any more management of a network. See, predominantly the way we used to look at is management of a road, or let's take the context of our own current scenario. Okay, current scenario was that we never expected COVID can be so harmful. Body was not never ready. Today the cure for a body is self-healing, right? So self-healing, that's where everybody have to build their own immunity. Okay, so this is the context which has come into a world of networking, where we are looking at step ahead of curve. See today, what is the all the team out here, panelists out here do is they are the doctors of network. Okay, so when you are a doctor of network, what is that you are looking at? Are you looking at I will rectify a problem when I identify it? Meaning it was predominantly what reactive it was. Okay, now the next step will come into picture. Next step is how do I proactively look into it? And rather than just moving towards proactively, how do I do self-healing? Meaning if I'm coming with a, let's say, iPhone 15 or a latest gadget, and that network requires an upgrade for connecting you to that network, I don't need to physically do an upgrade. Once, let's say, Sachin calls me saying that, hey, I'm not able to connect this. Okay, the network should understand and probably self-heal itself. So that is where the big concept of network with six sense coming into picture. Okay, and this is revolutionary. And this is not something which Aruba did as a reactive to what current situation is. We built our architecture since beginning towards this achievement. And this is where you are going to embrace the next generation artificial intelligence and machine learning. That is the one where you will see missions playing a key role in network management and operation, and moving the critical aspect of quality of service to quality of experience.
Thanks, Surya. Thanks for that context setting. So now let's get into, as you have just explained the concept of the sixth sense. With that, let me invite the views of our panel here. So I would like to start with Mr. Iyer, and I'll then go to Mr. Gupta, Saurabh Gupta. So my question is that, how do you see the edge computing really impacting the future of work? And hence, do you see that the enterprise's IT team have a visibility into the state of network, the location of data, and the opportunities available to the business here? So, Mr. Iyer, would you like to just answer to
that? Thanks for inviting me. Namaste to everyone. See, we are in manufacturing, and fortunately, post-pandemic, we started embracing more convergence on OT and IT coming together. This clearly reflects on more data movement, which is a new experience, at least for me. I should not say that because this data which is available within the landscape was there for more than 20, 25, 30 years, but we started learning how to consume that data. So if you look into that, the data, whichever is getting generated, cannot be consumed because we need to have only meaningful data to be extracted out. To make it more meaningful, Edge was more convenient because we have learned it by burning our fingers. We were thinking that we should take everything to cloud in the beginning, And then we realized that taking everything to cloud is not going to pay the desired results. Do the required crunching of data at the edge itself, so that we are trying to use the cloud infrastructure for the right data to be churned out to get the right results. What is going to happen for future, why edge computing is rather more relevant is because today the data movement is from machine coming out from machine. We will be learning, and then probably we may for future come and control the machine. That is not possible from cloud for future. Unless and until we have edge, if you are getting the right kind of data set which is analyzed, we have to take the corrective action on immediate basis. So the edge is more meaningful for a long term. Thank you.
So, Mr. Gupta, you would like to react to this?
Yes, I think once as the technology is moving towards the edge, the speed at which people get the result, I think it is becoming faster and faster. So previously, for example, smallest of voice speech recognition, you have to send it to cloud, get the result back, and give it to the end user. Now, I think with edge computing coming in, it has become instantaneous. So in one of my previous assignment, we had evaluated a chip, AI chip, which used to do the entire thing at the edge itself, and that actually increased the speed at which we could do that kind of analysis 10 to 15 times. So with edge computing, I think that is increased. The speed at which things are happening for the client is increasing drastically. Coming to the second question, I think in reality, we do not have the complete visibility of where the data is lying. Within the organization, I think it is difficult to pinpoint for us. That's it from my side.
Thanks for that point of view. With that, I would like to bring in Puran, who's from Entero Healthcare. Puran, how you guys are seeing, and especially in the recent time, where the whole healthcare pharma sector has seen a great shift. Today, the network is enabling everything as sensor with mega trends like mobility, IoT, cloud, and security. Is your network doing this capably and the way you desired in the time like what you've seen in the last 1.5 years? And after that, I would also bring in the view of Mr. Amit Nerurkar on the same question. So, Puran, you would like to go first?
Yeah, Sachin, if you see last 1.5 years, COVID has taken a center stage, and the people are talking more about data, technology, and how do we process the medicine delivery faster. What has happened with the Entero and especially me being in a healthcare sector, the demand has increased, and the demand is not increased 1-fold or 2-fold. It is increased by 10, 100 and 1,000-fold. Okay. Now it is important for us to have all the data in place and give us and have information real-time basis. We can't wait for a day or two to get the data. What is my stock level? What is my inventory level? Where is my dispatch level? Whether the medicines are reaching to the destination, whether it's a chemist or hospital or doctor on time or not. So we first and foremost we have to adopt cloud. Okay? There was no choice because cloud first gives you advantage of data accessibility anytime, anywhere, and plus it reduces the maintenance cost. Now, if you see that amount of data we are crunching on day-to-day basis, we are the largest distributor having presence in 28 cities in almost 10 states, serving more than 30 to 40,000 customers. This data.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you be a little louder?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just remove my headphones. Maybe that may help us. Yeah. So, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying the amount of data what we crunch on a day-to-day basis, it's very huge. It's in the terabytes. And for us, it's important to have a various technology solution like AI engine and machine learning. Getting the data ASAP and give us a result ASAP. When we started, the AI engine what we built, it used to take a lot of time to process the data because it was pretty new technology. The technology was not aware of what kind of data we are crunching.
I think Puran seems to be
time to 6 to 8 months, but now we are able to get the data faster and we are able to analyze more.
Puran, there seems to be some network issue at your end. You may want to switch off your video in case if that's a bandwidth issue.
Looks like, is that okay now?
Yeah, better. Sorry.
Yeah. So, should I repeat what I said before, or?
We missed you for a few seconds as you were expressing your point of views. The earlier point, what you were saying.
So, Sachin, I was talking about data, amount of data what we process at the end. We process around terabytes of data on a daily basis. Which inventory information, your supply chain. I think I missed it again. Let me move to a different network now. Sachin.
No worries. So, meantime, let me move to the next point of view on this. Hello. Puran, we'll come back to you again. I'll meantime go to Mr. Amit Nerurkar. Amit, would you like to share your thoughts on that?
Basically, we have been, spread across almost second, two tier 2 and tier 3 cities and tier 4 cities as well. So before the pandemic and after the pandemic, there has been a quite shift into the data spread up across multiple channels with the customers, with the suppliers, on the cloud, on the on-premises, and the data has been in the system where the user has been asking from multiple tangents, where earlier the expectations was simple manual reports, but now there has been a different cuts, there has been a different analysis because everybody is struggling to reach out to the end consumers because of the pandemic. So we have been into the shift of digital transformation where we are using network as a main thing, as a backbone, because we can't run operations without network, and network has been played a very wide role in our entire supply chain, as well as our entire editorial function, as well as the entire sales and circulation function. So we have been actively transforming our backbone as well as far as network is concerned, and even we are utilizing hybrid infrastructure to run our business. And the data demand from the user has been increasing because before pandemic the data expectations and after pandemic data expectations has been gradually increasing, and user wanted to work wherever they are. So that is a very big shift which is happening, and they don't want any restrictions. They don't want any location restrictions. They don't want any URL restrictions. They don't want any application restrictions. They want everything to be powered with the data and with the different cuts. So I think data is going to be the future for organization to drive the business growth, and the customers and vendors also has to be connected with the data, because there is no way we can run a business without connecting customers on the platforms.
Thanks, Amit. With that, I think you put in right, and therefore I was very keen to look at the point of view of healthcare and pharma sector. With that, I think we have Mr. Srinivasa Mopaneni. Mr. Mopaneni, you there? Can you hear me? Hello. I think he seems to be dropped, I guess. So, Arupji, I would like to take your point of view. As you see the mega trends like mobility, IoT, and cloud, is your network capable in this scenario to just manage the overall, the sensors?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So I would like to start with the thing that, today we had to move into a hybrid model. 1.5 years back, because we serve around 3 million retail outlets across India.
Mm-hmm.
And 1.5 years back, it used to be more of a salesman-oriented approach that we used to take. But then with the pandemic coming in, with the market working, getting restricted, etc., now omni-channel had to be opened up. And therefore, the data demand has gone up hugely. And Because of that, we had to move into hybrid. So some of it in-house, some of it in the cloud, some in private cloud, some in public cloud. And therefore, the data to and from movements have increased so much that we had to improve our networking infrastructure to actually manage the kind of data flow that happens today. At the same time, today data gets edited from multiple channels. So, sanctity of data is also very, very important, because for us to churn out the correct amount of data for decision making is very important for us. That is one area, but still we are struggling with the last mile. Last mile is still a challenge in the 21st century as well, because there are remote locations, because most of our point of sales are actually outside the city limits. And there we still have a last mile issue in some of the locations that we are now trying to bridge through various forms, in terms of whether it is Wi-Fi or whether it is cell towers. Whichever way we can, we are trying to bridge that gap as of this point in time. But the data movement has really increased a lot in the past 1.5 years.
With that, let me bring in Surya back again here. Surya, hello, Surya.
I'm there, Sachin.
So what I was just keen is to, what are exactly, your observation on the trends of, this harnessing the data, and will it support the sort of, the current set of networks, what you're seeing at various your users and enterprises you've been interacting? Are they really supporting the IT teams? And do you see how the shift is taking place?
So, Sachin, the last, brain always recollects not the first in, first out, last in, first out, right? So when everybody was talking about, we should ever be ready only. There's no alternative to that. Okay, so see, let me consolidate some of the points. Mr. Ranganathan started off giving an analogy around IT/OT. The difference between IT/OT was intranet and internet. They never wanted OT to have an internet experience, or from a security or a compliance perspective, that parameters were defined. So outside of manufacturing, it was defined between intranet and internet. In enterprise, it was defined from an application perspective. Sachin uses YouTube. He is no more an enterprise customer for me. Sachin uses Swiggy. He is no more an enterprise customer for me. My ERP or Exchange is my application, which I need to use, of course. So this is where the crux changed. Application first movement was on application. Okay, so today we are in the world of hybrid. Most of panelists talked about it. The hybrid came into picture because of multiple aspects. One, application from on-prem to cloud, cloud to on-prem. Security from on-prem to cloud. Just imagine you had bought in heavy firewalls to protect your on-prem applications and infra. Suddenly the application moves to the cloud. What is your security scale up or security measures when you have that hybrid model? Then you used to put all the human bodies into one location. So we used to call it as office spaces. All those office spaces are gone. Okay, so the reason why I want to bring people to office or devices to office was I was focusing on that office space to give assurance of connectivity. That is that experience. Give assurance of that security. Now, Mr. Arup talked about connect from anywhere. I think it was mentioned by everybody, every other panelist. So this is changed world. I need to connect from home, or I connect from my farmhouse, or I connect from anywhere, right? So this was envisaged long back from a technology standpoint. In fact, this is not the first time where networking world was challenged with this. Western countries were gone through such pandemics. SARS was one of it, where we had seen some of the big multinationals moving to the strategy of work from anywhere. So that time, predominantly, I always take this example of what we had done. What we had done was we had a Aruba remote access point. Okay, so this was not an access point nor a switch. This was one-stop solution where you had few Ethernet ports, you had 2 radios, a USB port. You carry this. My CTO used to carry this everywhere, wherever he goes, for a remote secured connectivity to the Aruba network. Okay, similarly today 5,000 employees of Aruba alone, R&D global tax center based in India, are connected on such devices securely, giving a quality of assurance. Okay, so the point is the IT/OT or intranet and internet will exist. We have a solution to that. Edge computing, most of them talked about it. I keep questioning when people talk about how can edge be so intelligent. Edge has to be intelligent. Just imagine today we are driving static cars, meaning I change my gear, moving to one place to other place with my intelligence or with Google, right? Moving forward, you get autonomous cars that decides the time, that decides the pathway. All you need to do is you sit in your car. Now that has a number of sensors. Can you just imagine, to apply a brake, object comes in front, should it go to a cloud in US to come back and apply a brake, or it has to compute within that system to apply a brake? So that's the example which I always give, that edge has to be intelligent. There's no other option. Okay, moving forward, as we embrace machine learning, where does the machine learning get into? With the telemetry data. Take example of how we humans evolve, right? We humans evolve with multiple inputs. Today, the esteemed panelists are giving me so much data to me. Okay, sitting across in one platform. Had it been earlier days, Sachin, you would have called me to a hotel in Mumbai, made us sit in a hotel room, ballroom, and would have done this. Today, just imagine, across India, we are just sitting in one platform, learning each other. Okay, so this is where the edge will be a telemetry point for the machine learning. Once you have that humongous data, that is when the AI comes. I have seen enough conversation around AI without a valid telemetry data itself. How can a human be intelligent without having gurus like you? You have a good background, Gurukul, right? So without getting that telemetry data, no way a machine can be AI enabled. Okay, so this is where the next generation AI is ready. The reason is vendors like Aruba have huge amount of edge devices giving me that telemetry data. So I am ready from that perspective. Last point is data visibility. Okay, so today you have humongous amount of data. What is the relevant data? That is important. What is that relevant data which needs priority in my network? Typical road network, right? You take any city where if you want to travel from Delhi to Gurgaon, an ambulance can never get a priority. Whether you take the toll out or toll in, that's a different story. Okay, same with happens in Mumbai. Mumbai lives with Eastern Express Highway or Western Express Highway. If you cut those two highways, gone. Mumbai is dead. Okay, same with in Bangalore. If I need to go to, let's say, from my place to Whitefield, if you cut that outer ring road, gone. Okay, so this is how the networks are. Network should understand not just priority from an application perspective. I need to know who is connecting. Is Sachin connecting, Surya connecting, or a guest connecting? And it is like this. I keep giving example on a lighter note. Ambulance comes, but in the ambulance, Surya comes. But my network is still so intelligent that it gives a priority. It doesn't understand a patient is sitting or a Surya is sitting. So this is exactly what Aruba did. Aruba got into a depth of not understanding just application. Who is using it? What is he using? Where is he connecting from? So this is the context which needs to be attached to address all the points of discussion, whatever we addressed. Last thing is, every industry is bound by something called as compliance. Compliance attached with security. Okay. So for example, India could have just opened up and said, I work from anywhere. Okay, then work from anywhere, SIP phones, can you work from anywhere? DOT used to put some regulation saying that, how can you put a call center anywhere? No, you need to come to office. So compliance started changing. So that is where today, whether it is PCI compliance or it is FDA compliance from a pharma industry perspective, it's very important that all this transformation has brought in the speed, which is very much required to assure everybody the industry is ready. Aruba is ready for that transformation. It's all about having that right conversation and discussion and having the right approach. In one of the atmosphere event, which Aruba has every year flagship, we had a esteemed panelist from US security defense organizations. They talked about AI amazingly. And at the same time, you can also have rogue AIs, right? Moving forward. So it's important that it's not just about right AI to be deployed, right approach to be deployed, what is required, what is not required to be understood, and a solution towards being on a hybrid, being on a movement towards edge computing or intelligent edge computing, being secured and compliant. That is critical for the way forward from a technology movement.
With that, now, since we have a very experienced senior IT leaders here in the room, before we get into further more theory of intelligent network, I want to ask, because somebody like Mr. Iyer might have seen even the era of mainframes. Sir, each of you would like to give a story of yours. What kind of a network shift you have seen when you started your career and now, and any fun instance which you may want to share with us. So I would like to start, Mr. Iyer, with you on that.
See, you are right.
Nostalgic, don't worry.
Yeah, you are right. I started with IBM mainframe. 5 MB storage was like we used to carry like this. Okay, so that itself is a secured place. We cannot wear shoes. If we barefoot when 15 degrees centigrade, or somebody has to sit inside that computer room, it's very difficult. From those days to sitting at home and doing whatever we want, and most of our data is being distributed freely across. Although we are talking more about security, but most of our data is publicly consumed. Those people who are interested to break you, they can very easily get the information and then do. Very recently, day for yesterday, I saw one WhatsApp message. For network security, switch off the power, you are secure. So we have come to that stage. So data is so important and security is much more important than that. But despite we are so careless, that is one attitude which at least I cannot change myself. Despite securing companies' data, when I'm talking about my personal data, how good I am is a question mark. So, although we are talking, Aruba is trying to do some deep dive, there are many questions. For example, we do not want to have engineering data, machine data, and transactional data to come together. What Aruba is telling, it can identify all these things, but we don't want, because we want to reduce the footprint. People coming inside my network is spoiling one network. The other two networks are safe. This is one way of thinking. But is it right? Is it wrong? That is a debatable question. But yes, if you see, it is very, very big change has happened with my 30 years of experience.
Let me invite Arupji's view. Arupji, if you just want to share some of your memories of.
Yeah, can you repeat the question, please?
So what I was asking is that some of you have seen, in the last few decades of the shift of network which has happened, right? And as Mr. Iyer was saying, he has seen where the storage and the chip, and now the era of where things are getting literally transitioned to the minimal, and with intelligent network coming in. If you would like to share your memories of network you seen when you started a career and now.
Yeah, I started my career with the print media, Times of India, and we used to transfer files through VSAT during that period of time. Then, gradually mobile phones came in, but still there was no data on the mobile phone. Data was still through point-to-point lease lines and things like that. After that, VSATs came in. Then gradually from VSATs, we moved into mobile data networks. And today, of course, networks have become very robust.
Yeah.
And looking at those scenarios in the past and looking at today, it's a huge difference that has come about in the networking area. and it's constantly changing, and it is changing for the better. That's my take.
Absolutely. Venuji, you would like to add your story here?
Yes, when I start my career, I seen the networks of dial-up network. So applying to the BSNL and waiting for the connection and start our career. So this is a startup for my career when we are looking for the network. So even for the officers also taking the dial-up network connections and looking for the data to send and giving very carefully using the network also, giving the connection to very few people and managing the network is a big challenge. Now, when compared to other areas, now we are implementing the use, I can say. But some of the challenges like syncing to the network, we are only round about network now. See, to complete any technology to implement in a value-added organizations, not only network is not sufficient. It is network is one of the key element. I can agree with that. But apart from that, see, the main issue is any technology to implement and get the benefits, the combination of solution is very important. So where we are stacking up to take it very high benefits of the technology. One is manufacturing by the edge, another is manufacturing, another is giving a solution about network, another is giving a solution of data. The combination is not available, because why I am saying that we are trying to implement the six sense, whatever you are now we are talking about edge computing and networking. We want to implement our mines. Generally, natural resources like mines or I can say that oil and gas. These things are very important. These type of networks, right? Because invisible data, invisible information is we cannot get it through present technology. Only the technology which we are looking for the IoTs and sensors. The sensor is mostly used in natural resources area, where in oil and gas and our mines area. So, but whenever we want to initiate for the technology, there is a lot of challenges you can encounter, like location wise, geographical wise, last mile, and all these challenges are there. So to overcome all these things, what my observation in this area is talking continuously about the technology, but we are not able to succeed about the total solution, because no one is taking the ownership of total solution. This is what I identified in the technological market. But potential is very high, but not able to moving forward with the progress. This is what I observed. And I'm also suggesting whoever, either Aruba or anyone, take as a solution, not as a product or a solution. Simply network, I'm a very good network you may give, but it is very difficult for the CIOs or IT leaders to integrate all these things. So when I'm talking about sensor, start from sensor and gather the information, the sensor to edge device, from the edge device to network, from the network to cloud to a mobility. This is the flow. This flow needs to, at least business cases, proven business cases are required. Generally, what is happening, we are talking about our domain and our area only. So that is the reason we are not able to progress very well. This is what my opinion.
Thank you. Thanks for narrating this story. I'm sure our audience listening to this experience will be able to relate, because many of them would be from a era which you also have, witnessed some of this shift. So with that, Saurabhji, we would like to hear from you now.
Yeah, so I do not have as much experience as Ayer Saab, so he has seen mainframe. But yes, we started working on those VSNL modems to begin with, which used to give you like 64 kbps used to be a very great speed. I remember in my first job, we had to download a genome database, which was 1 GB, and it took us 18 days to download one database. And we used to run around, because every time the BSNL connection used to go down. So I think from that time, the overall network, the speeds, etc., have changed, and that has transformed the way we do things. That has transformed the business as well as the organizations. Network has played a key part into it. Apart from the computational power, the reducing cost of storage, network has also been very instrumental in transforming the businesses. Now we can actually think about doing all these things online. We can download data quickly. We can upload data quickly. We can do a lot of computations which data has enabled. So I think now, I mean, it is a very different ball game compared to what was there earlier, maybe 20 years back.
Great. I mean, I can relate that experience because even I started my career in Indian Express in '97, and I can relate Aruj's experience, what he shared, and the transition we have noticed. And I think the kind of work possibly even sort of you did mention of the shift is unimaginable, and I think we are definitely in a much better space, and with the 5G coming in, it's going to be further more exciting. So Amitji, I would like to hear from you now.
So basically, in 1996-97, when I started working in a small pharma company, we used to struggle for 64-bit and 128-bit ISDN line. Where getting that ISDN line with the BSNL guys was a nightmare. Where download accelerator was the software we used to use it to download the large files, and we used to work on Lotus Notes to transfer the data. Mail should go, so mail should go to head office. So that is the way we started the work. And 64 kbps and 128 kbps was a dream there if it works. And RF towers, VSAT was a backup lines, but then whenever range starts coming, then everything is gone. So the day started from there, and now today we have been can't work without 50 Mbps, 100 Mbps. So we can't talk about kbps now. It's about 100 Mbps and more than that. And the cyber security has been asking for everybody in the CIO world ki what level you can go. Can you go to port level scanning? Can you go to the every bit which is getting transmitted to the across network? How do you control your information security? How do you have rights management in place? How do your network supports to that? What kind of encryption mechanism you are using? How you are prevented from all cyber attacks? So network has been a backbone for the organization, and network also needs to transform a lot in terms of securities, because right now we are just connecting all the bits in the one single dashboard and trying to connect the dots basically. And I think it's a long way to go for networks as well as tier 2, tier 3 cities are concerned, and as well as the way Venu was telling that solution has to come, not the products. So I think it's a long way to go as far as the network is concerned to connect with the cyber security and business transformation as well as digital transformations.
So therefore, having now some of these nostalgic instances from you, I would like to now relate that with is your network capable to identify the issues, the complexities around threats which are there? Then is it also affordable? Is something
basically there are multiple factors to it. One is does network is available 100%? Yes, the network is available 99.95%. There are issues with the ISP providers, and there are last mile issues. The second thing is, as far as threats are concerned, threats is an ongoing process. Every day there is a new threat. So we are able to monitor that, we are able to track it, but then it's a cumbersome because you don't know where the threat is lying, whether it is lying at end user level, it is lying in the network, it is lying in the cloud, it is lying on the server, you never know. So that is becoming challenging. The third thing is, how do you believe on each and every patch which is coming from the OEM? How do you believe every packet request is coming from each and every third-party providers, third-party APIs? So that is becoming a challenge now and then. So it's as far as security is concerned, it is challenging. But yes, all CIOs are putting their best resources forward and trying to control the cyber security related threats. But yes, it's going to be a challenge. And as far as the economically it is concerned, every tool has its own dilemma and its own advantages and disadvantages. So you need to work on every aspect of the tools. Okay, how you control end user rights management, how do you convert network DLP, how do you convert the port scanners. So every solution you need to think as separately. The way Venu was explaining, every CIO has a challenge. How do you address the security things in entire network?
I understand. And therefore, I would like to get back again to Mr. Iyer, because he'll be able to actually give us a perspective in terms of the affordability also, the investment possibly going, say, around the 3 decades back and now. So how would you state that, Mr. Iyer? Is it Now, are we in the current generation really getting the best network what we are imagining for our enterprise compared to what it was and the kind of investment you would have made those days? How would you rate this?
You see, I'm going to be very blunt now because you have to understand the mindset of the company where you are working with. For example, as a manufacturing company, we have the tendency of not exposing ourselves to the outside world. Till 4 years back, our thought process was like that. So if you ask any manufacturing company of auto components specifically, we have very few customers. You can say 20, 25 OEMs, and we are directly talking to them. We are collaborating with them. That's not a problem because they are also secured environment. We never expose ourselves. We have everything coming under the one umbrella. We confined ourselves within our plants or connecting within different plants. In the last 4 years, because of cloud adoption, and in the last 3 years, we started embracing AI as a technology and then connecting machines and collecting. Our thinking process has changed. 4 years back, if you ask me, security, it is waste of money. 4 years back, according to the basic securities are okay. We need to authentication at 2 levels. We are supposed to have those things are okay. But the so-called security relevance, when you are exposing yourself outside your office, it is more relevant because we in the last 4, 6 years we are into bus manufacturing also. So in the last 4 years, if we start thinking on those lines, we have felt what we have to focus on. What are all the areas? Many solutions are available. When you are thinking about security, you should not think about cost when you are identifying the solution. Subsequently, you can do a balancing part by taking a certain decision-making process. But when you are trying to find a solution, enough solutions are available, but you have to prioritize what you want to protect. That's number one. Number two, whether you are protecting or not protecting, it is not 100% sure you are always protected 100%. This should be known to everyone, specifically to management, because what threat are going to come for future, no one knows. So constantly updating the management about where we are lagging on regular basis will help us getting the right kind of budget for us to consume for future. But we cannot, although we have enough solutions in the market, it may not be integrated. But if we take a decision out of 10 different kinds of threats, I want to focus on 4 because this is my IP. I want to protect these 4. We have enough solutions. Yes, we have to be more cautious. Some are really performing. I'm not talking about the integrated one, the way Mr. Venu has told, but only security point of view, we have enough solutions. It has to get matured and it is a process. So you are not 100% sure of you are secure. At least you know where you stand. Okay, to larger extent, I'm safe. It cannot go beyond that. Thank you.
I think you have shared one of the best CIO guru advice today on session, and actually how to convince board also for the right investment especially in an area like an intelligent network now. So thanks for that. With that, Venuji, do you think with the intelligent network path, are we ready even for the emergence of 5G kind of network?
Yes, some of the geographical spread of the network to connect, because see, some of the areas even last mail issues are, a lot of issues are there. Suppose your office is 5G enabled, but your locations are not 5G enabled. So in that area, there is a lot of crunches, and you cannot get the data or the benefits of the 5G. You cannot get it until unless the infrastructure is in place. So the benefits of the implementations, now we are planning to implement IoT solutions at our mines, but still mines are not having a signals, a lot of signals issues are there. We are not able to get the benefits of this, that data is not coming in the right manner. And also some of the solutions like no one is taking the ownership, especially from implementation perspective. Why? Because of the location challenges. So such areas are a lot of challenges we are facing related to total solution. Because we are interested to implement 5G or 6G, whatever it may be, or 6 cells networks. But the challenges is integrated solution, and ultimately we are looking for the benefits. For example, IoTs are there, and we want to increase the productivity of the HMM equipments, heavy equipments of which is used for the mining. And by integrating all the IoTs and get the data and increase the occupancy level, these are the our aims. But still we are not able to do. Why? Because network is a bigger challenge. Because network is we need to be integrated with all the network. Maybe in a location, some locations are 4G available, 3G available, but 5G is the challenge there. This is the issue. This is we can't get it the 5G directly there, right? Because it is a even governments also needs to be allow such towers or anything. So this is the challenges we are facing at present.
Thanks for that. So therefore, I would like to hear from Arupji and Saurabhji also. With the emergence of 5G, what kind of expectations you have from intelligent network?
Yeah, so part of 5G we are experiencing already, sitting at the living room and streaming OTTs on our television. Yes. So, the data speed is going to go up. High-speed transmissions are going to be possible. But again, I would like to say that I would say that there would be limitations in the outskirts. So unless the entire country is laid with cables, etc., the things will not happen as smooth as we expect it to happen. Because the thing is that, see, one pipe might be wide, the other pipe might be thin. So therefore, the user experience will not be the same in all the places. So unless 5G is rolled out evenly across the country, we will not get the entire benefit of 5G. But some people will definitely have the benefit of 5G.
Yes, Sachin. So I think if you look at it, companies like Anand Group, so we are very forward-looking companies and we invest in technologies. We are very much open. But what we feel at times is although we do a lot of investment in technology in terms of network also. So we have tools which tell us where there's a problem, but I think fixing and identification of a problem on a network becomes a tiresome task. So let's say we have around 60 factories and 20 companies in our group now. We have some of the best infrastructure in some of these factories, but when there's a problem, specific problem with respect to network, we find it difficult to troubleshoot. It becomes a nightmare for us. So I think when people talk about the high-speed data, technology investment, etc., then it should be seamless. When people invest money into a technology, the idea is to not create further problems for us, but at least get rid of those problems. So I think my expectation from any such new technology is that it is able to take care of the things. It should be able to run with the kind of desired output which it is supposed to do.
Right. With that, Amit, do you see the benefits of intelligent network, with a 5G for your kind of a business?
I think if the 5G comes in picture, will be the most benefited organization in terms of reaching to the last mile, as we have been struggling to tier 3 and tier 4 cities. So 5G will definitely transform the user experience as well as our customer and vendor experience. And there are been areas where you may not require a cable to be laid down for each and every corner of the country. Wi-Fi devices will transform the 5G experience because it is a software-driven backend technology which will transform the speed as well as the experience of the customer. So I think we are the organization benefited of the 5G.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks for that point of view. Now, I would like to ask Surya. You've heard Surya collective experience of the leaders here, the CIO gurus, who, some of them are 2.5 decades Mr. Iyer, 3 decades plus. How do you see the current 6N networks benefiting enterprises? If you can say so, and also do the summary of our conversation today.
Sure, Sachin. In fact, a very deep discussion, and I was floored by some of the experiences. The fact is, things do change, no doubt about it, be it on the security or the network layer. There were enough, I can say, pointers by Mr. Venu around sensors. Sensors are bound to hit us, be it in your personal space or in your office spaces. Take your own example in your house, be it Alexa or Google Home, or connecting that to a AC, washing machine, TV. Probably we don't know what and all we are going to connect in a home itself. Okay, so sensors are bound to come. Now, these are the same sensors which will help in a current scenario. When you look at many talked about, can I have a sensor on my machines to measure it? In fact, we did some integrations with ABB, and today the point is, it's not about one OEM, one person doing everything. So take it from experience perspective or from a security perspective, it should be the culmination of partners coming together, as most of them spoke about it, saying that it should be a culmination of solution to be spoken about. It cannot be, for example, take security. Security is like, your question was, are you secured? Okay, so I always say, Sachin, are you secured in India? When I question it, you still have some doubts. I will say that, boss, you have the best army, navy, air force in India. Why are you not secured? Then you have the best police in India. Why are you not secured? It is like questioning that, have I invested the best perimeter security? By just having a firewall, am I secured? May not be. Having the best antivirus in my system, am I secured? May not be. So today, the security parameters are evolved. Probably having a Mossad or a RAW or a CIA or FBI is important. Why? They can predict attacks before it happens. So that's the way security has to move. That's where the point of investment has to come. Okay. Now coming to the experience part. Today, look at the way wireless evolved from Mbps to Gbps. From just a 2 radio to almost 5 to 6 radios. Today, Aruba access point has 2.4, 5 gigahertz, 6 gigahertz radio. Okay, so then it also has a Bluetooth radio. It also has a Zigbee radio. Why am I doing that? These are all for the next generation telemetry data, which I needed. Today, like Mr. Venu talked about, I need to integrate with sensors. I may integrate with ABB sensors sitting on your mission, collecting that data. Now my access point is no more just wireless access point. It is a telemetry data for collecting that sensor to be connected to my wireless device. It's an IoT sensor. So this is the evolution which has happened around the wireless part or the network part. Look at the way WAN transformation happened. We all remember the dial-up connection. We used to wait till 12 in the midnight so that BSNL gives me a good connectivity. Okay, today the WAN has evolved so much. WAN has evolved towards a software-defined or self-driving wide area network. Today, I'm no more going to say that I'm going to improve my highway from 10 lane to 20 lane. I cannot make every road as 20 lane highway, right? So what I need to do, effective traffic management. Same is happening in WAN. Okay, that is where the software defined or self-delivering WAN comes into picture. How do I identify which application to be prioritized? How do I identify which person to be prioritized? How do I identify which path to take to reach the destination fastest? So this is where, again, the machine learning, artificial intelligence has to be applied, not just in the highway. My interest is, if I stay in a 20-floor apartment, probably I may take 20 minutes to get on from 20th floor to the ground floor, because the lift doesn't know that Sachin is going down or Surya is going down from the lift. So how do I just imagine, I give you an experience saying that Sachin goes to the lift at the 20th floor, lift identifies Sachin has come, and lift automatically comes to the 20th floor. Is it possible today? From a networking world, we are ready for that. The lift comes, takes you to the down in the fastest possible way. The car identifies which is the fastest road I need to go to the tip of the highway. You reach at the destination. On the highway, I give you a prioritization. This is exactly what I do on wireless, wired, and LAN network. This is exactly what I do from the context of who is connecting into my network. Whether it is a sensor is connecting or Sachin connecting from a mobile phone, connecting from my intranet device. So these are the points which are ready from a technology standpoint. There are enough use cases which has changed due to the pandemic. The pandemic brought in concepts of, can I track my assets? Can I geofence it? Can I track my people? Can I identify vulnerabilities, meaning that I am positive? What are the areas I visited and how do I sanitize? How do I quarantine people? So these are the new points where technology is ready for such conversations. All is important that as everybody in the panelists talked about, that it should have the right chord, right conversation, right technology to be positioned. And more importantly, you touched the point of cost, and you linked it with security, and you can never link cost to a security. It's important that security should override the cost. At the same time, the cost should not override the budget. So it should be optimal enough, right fit technology, right fit cost, right fit partnering is important. I'm not talking about just Aruba. I'll bring the whole patera of my partnership to your solution needs. So that is where the solution moving forward will evolve to. But for sure, technology transformation will happen. You will be challenging every OEM with your transformation, because technology transformation will not happen unless there's a demand. Okay, so we are your customers, because every human being, every employee of your organization is your customer. He is going to change. He is going to change drastically. He will not come to office unless and until you assure that, hey, my office is COVID compliant. That's a new norm which everybody are talking about, where technology will assure that nobody in that office is having probably the symptoms of what COVID is. So that's where the technology will evolve. So this is where technology will help in every aspects of our life. And last point which I want to talk about is there was a conversation around 5G. So Gs keep improving, 1G, 2G, 3G. The point of context is, in India, how relevant is that G? Okay, when you go to 15th floor of your building, how relevant is your G? When you go to a government building with stone walls, how relevant is that G? Okay, at the end of the day, it all gets offloaded, meaning 5G will remain. At the end of the day, the last mile connectivity is important. Everybody talked about it. Last mile connectivity, whether it is RF, wireless, or direct LTE, it all evolves around experience. So today we do a lot of work around 5G offload. Today you would have noticed in your own home, your Wi-Fi calls are getting offloaded to your Wi-Fi. It's no more running onto the service provider's network. So that's where the service providers will also evolve. They will get into the last mile offload story. DAS is what we used to talk about in your offices. In your home, there's no DAS, but still you need experience. That's where the Wi-Fi plays a critical role. So every element of network will play a key role in the transformation. And in that journey, I'll be more than happy from Aruba perspective. We would like to be part of that journey, and rest assured that we will be part of the transformation journey in one or the other way.
Thank you, Surya. Thanks for that summary and stating the benefits of a proactive approach to build the 6N network and sort of get ready for the generation we're going to witness now. With that, I thank each and every our eminent panelists for joining this session. The discussion has indeed been exciting as we explore the myriad possibilities with networks, with 6Ns, and how it will impact the future of work. As data becomes a new currency, we need enhanced and intuitive capabilities to extract the value from it. For this to happen, we must equip enterprise IT teams with capability to turn the network into IT 6Ns that it make intuitive and intelligent. It will help them not just pinpoint and isolate network issues, but anticipate them intuitively, fixing them automatically and intelligently. With problems and solutions being solved in minutes, IT will be free to do what it's meant to, which is innovate to drive change. Thank you, everyone, for this excellent discussion, and really thanking our audience also who's listening to it. I would urge them, as you are attending this session, please also visit our cafeteria and keep yourself charged and for next few upcoming sessions which are going to come. So thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.